Chapter 31 Meeting Dai Mubai for the first time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 31 Meeting Dai Mubai for the first time. 5 years later, Barak Kingdom, Soto City, the capital of the Barak Kingdom, one of the 4 kingdoms within the Heaven Do Empire. The heat was oppressive, the sun blazing down. The streets were mostly deserted, except for 3 teenagers strolling along with an air of confidence. 2 young men and a young woman. The woman's long, black hair was styled into a scorpion braid that reached past her calves. She wore a small, pink dress that showcased her developing figure. Although her breasts weren't yet full, her waist was incredibly slender, making you want to reach out and hold it. One of the men was about 5 feet 7 inches, wearing a belt adorned with 24 jade stones. A faint smile played on his lips. The other man was taller, with black hair and eyes. His looks easily justified the word handsome. He was clearly male, but wore a jade bracelet inlaid with gold thread on his wrist. These 3 were Xiao Wu, Tang San, and Feng. I don't know what Tang San was thinking, making us come to this no-name academy. Xiao Wu complained, glancing at Tang San, who was walking a little apart from her, and then at Feng, who was keeping pace beside her. And you, Feng? We had offers from several intermediate colleges that wanted to recruit us without conditions, but you decided to follow Tang San to this dump, Shrek Academy. Feng smiled, understanding Xiao Wu's restlessness. She was worried that Shrek Academy might have Contra or title Douluo level soul masters, which would expose her true identity as a soul beast. Since Xiao Wu and Feng had undergone that mysterious transformation at the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang Eye, things had changed. In Douluo's medicine garden, he finally saw through Xiao Wu's disguise. But because Jian Dao's heart was moved by Xiao Wu's heart, Douluo didn't impulsively kill Xiao Wu, or have his granddaughter Dugu Yan obtain Xiao Wu's soul bone. Douluo isn't as powerful as Jian Dao Chen Xian, if he actually went through with it, given the relationship between Xiao Wu, Feng, and Jian Dao Chen Xian. Jian Dao Chen Xian would definitely not let Douluo off the hook. Especially since his granddaughter Dugu Yan was involved. It's like the saying goes, you can make money, but not at the cost of your life. Even if Douluo killed Xiao Wu and obtained her soul bone, his granddaughter Dugu Yan might not survive the process of absorbing it. So, after discovering Xiao Wu's true nature, Douluo resisted the impulse to kill her. Now that Xiao Wu was about to enter Shrek Academy, she worried about encountering Contra or title Douluo level soul masters. Feng reached out and took Xiao Wu's hand. Xiao Wu's ears perked up, her face flushing, and she stared blankly at Feng. Feng smiled. The master always said that cultivation depends on the individual. Since we can't decide on a college, we might as well pick one at random. Xiao Wu pouted, still uneasy. But why Shrek Academy? It's not even ranked. We don't know anything about its strength. Feng smiled, secretly pleased he had guessed her worries. Don't worry. Tang San's teacher told me there are only 5 teachers at Shrek Academy, 3 soul emperors and 2 soul sages. Xiao Wu repeated to herself, 3 soul emperors, 2 soul sages, and only 5 teachers. Yep. Feng nodded firmly. Xiao Wu rolled her eyes, visibly relieved, and gave in. Okay, we'll go to Shrek Academy. I'm tired from walking, though. Let's find a place to stay, and we'll check out Shrek Academy tomorrow. Sounds good. Feng agreed with a smile. That hotel, over there. Xiao Wu pointed to a hotel at the end of the street. The hotel was 3 stories high. It wasn't particularly large, but the exterior had a romantic flair. The entire building resembled a giant rose. Rose Hotel? Feng muttered, recalling plot points. Rose Hotel. It even has a faint fragrance. I've decided, this is the one. Xiao Wu inhaled deeply, even more pleased with her choice. Inside the Rose Hotel, a refreshing aroma filled the air. The main colors were white, silver, and rose red, warm, chic, romantic, and noble. Sir, are you sure you want 2 rooms? Why wouldn't we? I'm sorry, sir, but we only have one room left. The waiter gave Yi Feng, Xiao Wu, and Tang San a knowing look. Yi Feng realized what was happening. He understood the waiter's implication. This was a love hotel. People came here for fun. To help them along, the waiter would claim there was only one room available, even if there were more. In the waiter's eyes, Yi Feng was not only having fun with a woman, but also dabbling in some same-sex action. The waiter had seen it all before, but a man and woman playing double flight was a new one. The upcoming scene played out in the waiter's mind. Yi Feng was speechless, knowing the waiter had completely misunderstood. Before he could explain, a voice came from behind them. I said, that room should be mine, Dai Mubai. The name flashed through Yi Feng's mind. Yi Feng, Xiao Wu, and Tang San turned around simultaneously. 3 people were walking towards the counter, a man and 2 women. The man was handsome and had double pupils. The women appeared to be 17 or 18 years old and were dressed flamboyantly. Notably, they were twins. The man ignored Yi Feng and Tang San completely, but his eyes lingered on Xiao Wu, a flash of surprise in his gaze. He seemed captivated by her beauty. The man walked up to the counter, leaned in, and squinted at the waiter. Are you new here? The waiter froze. Who are you? He asked tentatively. Get your manager, the man with the double pupils said impatiently. The waiter felt a chill run down his spine and hurried away to find the hotel manager. Yi Feng hesitated, wondering if he should let Dai Mubai have the last room. It would change a minor plot point and give him attribute points to allocate, but it would also mean missing a rare chance to sleep in the same room with Xiao Wu. Chapter 32 The Powerful Little Dance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 32, The Little Dance That Packs a Punch. Looks like we got here first, Xiao Wu pointed out. So? Dai Mubai sneered, not even glancing her way. He clearly wasn't impressed. So, scram. Xiao Wu snapped. Alright. Not many people talk to me like that. Come on then, why don't you all take me on? Dai Mubai shot her a condescending look. I'll give you a chance to get out of here yourselves, or you can show me what you mean by scram. Let me handle this, Xiao Wu. Tang San jumped in. Xiao Wu had always looked down on Tang San, and he knew it. In his mind, it was because he hadn't been strong enough in the past, giving her the impression he was timid. This was his chance to change her mind, but Xiao Wu stepped forward, shaking her head. He wants me to get out. Let me do it. She stomped her foot, and 3 soul rings appeared around her, 1 yellow and 2 purple. 1,000-year spirit ring? Dai Mubai exclaimed, surprised. Most soul masters started with 2 yellow rings. But Xiao Wu's 2nd and 3rd rings were purple, meaning they were thousands of years old, and it wasn't just 1,000 years. Xiao Wu's 2nd ring had 4 purple lines. That meant it was 4,000 years old. Her 3rd ring, while also purple, had 8 lines. 8 lines on a purple ring meant it was over 8,000 years old. As a soul beast, Xiao Wu could condense her first 6 soul rings through cultivation. After being toughened by the star anise black ice grass, raging fire apricot, and the ice and fire yin-yang eye, her 2nd and 3rd rings had become purple and incredibly powerful. Seeing Dai Mubai's shock, Xiao Wu taunted, scared now? If you are, then you show me what "get out" means. Dai Mubai's face darkened. He glared at her. As the 3rd prince of the Star Luo Empire, there was no way he was backing down from the Rose Hotel. He planted his feet, and a strong, pale light erupted from his body. He stretched his arms wide, his chest puffed out, and his bones cracked as his muscles swelled. 3 spirit rings emerged from his feet, 2 yellow and 1 purple. Oh, Xiao Wu said slowly, a smile playing on her lips. So, you're a soul master over level 30. Come on then, let's fight. I'm not backing down. A glint flashed in Dai Mubai's eyes. So your name is Xiao Wu, he said coolly. Dai Mubai, White Tiger Spirit, level 37 battle soul expert. Ready when you are. Xiao Wu, Rabbit Spirit, Level 33 War Soul Master. Asterisk second soul skill, Charm Star, Xiao Wu's second ring glowed purple, and her eyes flashed pink. Dai Mubai, who was looking right at her, immediately fell under her spell. His expression went blank, and he stood there, dazed. It's worth noting that Xiao Wu's second soul ring was 4,000 years old. The power of a soul skill is directly related to the age of the ring. Control-type skills from a 4,000-year-old ring were far more potent and lasted longer than those from a 100-year-old ring. Asterisk first soul skill, Waist Bow Star. Instantly, Xiao Wu dashed towards the stunned Dai Mubai on tiptoe. Unleashing her first soul skill, she kicked him with all her might. Xiao Wu's waist bow instantly increased her waist strength by 50% and her toughness by 33%. After level 10 soul power, that boost increased by 1% with each level gained. Now, at level 33, her spirit ability had a boost effect of 120%. The kick sent Dai Mubai flying like an arrow, slamming him into the hotel wall. Thin cracks spiderwebbed around the impact. Just watching it made you want to wince. Xiao Wu smugly brushed her bangs back with her hand, a small smile playing on her lips. That's all, folks. Show's over. Master Dai. The twin sisters cried, snapping out of their daze and rushing to pull Dai Mubai from the wall. He glared at Xiao Wu, gritting his teeth. Let's go, he snarled, but as Dai Mubai tried to leave, Tang San used Ghost Shadow to block his path. What do you want? Dai Mubai demanded, staring Tang San down. I don't want anything. If we'd lost, we'd be the ones having to scram. Now that you've lost, it's your turn to show us what "get out" means, Tang San said clearly, glancing at Xiao Wu. Sure enough, she looked surprised, and her expression towards him softened. Don't push it, Dai Mubai warned angrily. If it weren't for that cheap shot, I wouldn't have lost. If you want to keep going, I don't mind making you regret it. If you want to fight, I'm game, Tang San replied with a smile. He was intentionally trying to shake Xiao Wu's image of him as timid. Hearing Dai Mubai's words, he was ready to fight without hesitation. Your name's Dai Mubai, right? You're outmatched here. Yi Feng spoke up. Yi Feng saw through Tang San's intentions and wasn't about to let him succeed. He had finally earned some good favor from Xiao Wu, so he wasn't about to let Tang San steal his thunder and let Xiao Wu be sacrificed. With a thought, for soul rings appeared beneath Yi Feng's feet, yellow, purple, and black. For spirit rings. A soul sect? And is that fourth ring a 10,000-year one? Dai Mubai's face drained of color, his eyes glazed over. He was frozen in place. Yi Feng was 3 or 4 years younger than Dai Mubai, but he was already a level 40 soul sect. And his fourth ring was a soul ring that far exceeded the standard 10,000-year limit. You want me to leave? Dai Mubai clenched his fists, looking at Yi Feng with fear. As the third prince of the Star Luo Empire, even if he'd become a playboy, Dai Mubai still had his pride. He had already decided that he would rather die than be thrown out of the Rose Hotel. Even in death, he would stand his ground. Just go, Yi Feng waved his hand, dismissing his martial spirit. Remember, there's always someone bigger and badder out there. Don't always be so cocky when you're out and about. Dai Mubai remained silent, studying Yi Feng for a moment. Finally, supported by the twin sisters, he left the Rose Hotel. Ding dong, the system notification sounded. Congratulations, you have deviated from the original storyline. You have scared away the evil-eyed white tiger Dai Mubai. Reward, 10 assignable attribute points. Chapter 33 Yi Feng, Xiao Wu, my first girlfriend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 33 Yi Feng, Xiao Wu, my first girlfriend. After getting Dai Mubai settled, Tang San offered Yi Feng the room at the Rose Hotel, since Yi Feng was technically their boss. Tang San and Xiao Wu would just find another place, but Yi Feng refused, pointing out that the rooms were big enough for 2 or 3 people. He told Tang San he wouldn't stop him if he wanted to find another hotel. Then he asked Xiao Wu if she wanted a separate room. She said she'd rather stay with Yi Feng, reminding him they shared a room back at Notting College. Once Tang San was gone, Yi Feng took the room key and followed the waiter's directions. Suddenly, Yi Feng stopped short. Xiao Wu blushed, looking a little worried. "What's wrong, brother?" Yi Feng pointed innocently. "The door's open." He unlocked the door and pushed it open. Xiao Wu gasped. The room was huge, the living area alone was over 500 square feet. But the best part was the bed. It was enormous, easily big enough for three. Yi Feng glanced at Xiao Wu, unsure if she really had feelings for him. He asked tentatively, "Hey, Xiao Wu, did you see that sign saying 1001, you are my only, written on it? And all the roses? Doesn't this feel like a romantic getaway?" Xiao Wu, face flushed, stepped past him, avoiding his gaze. "Brother, isn't it just a nice room? You're not usually so picky, as long as it's comfortable. And it smells amazing. The decor is great. I think I already love it here. And it's only 10 gold soul coins a night. Should we come here often?" Yi Feng shook his head, a wry smile on his face. He was now pretty sure Xiao Wu's feelings were romantic. 10 gold soul coins is kind of expensive, isn't it? If you really want to come, you can come by yourself. Xiao Wu whirled around, frowning. Looking exasperated, she poked Yi Feng in the chest. "I'm talking about us. What's the point of coming alone? Brother, sometimes you can be so clueless. How are you ever going to find a wife like that? Honestly, sometimes I wonder if you're even a real man." Yi Feng blinked, touching his nose. "What are you talking about?" Xiao Wu repeated, without hesitation. "I'm saying you're so innocent, it makes me wonder if you're even a man." That got Yi Feng's attention. He stared at her, a smile playing on his lips. "Say that again. I dare you." Xiao Wu grinned, confidently. "So what if I do?" "Brother, I'm serious." "Are you even a man?" Xiao Wu giggled, looking at Yi Feng teasingly. Their eyes met, and the air crackled. Yi Feng gazed at Xiao Wu, who seemed as tempting as a ripe peach. He felt an overwhelming urge to kiss her. His mind went blank, taken over by a single thought. His lips moved closer and closer to Xiao Wu's, and his breathing quickened. Xiao Wu sensed the change in the atmosphere, already anticipating what was about to happen. She froze, her mind as blank as Yi Feng's. Their lips met, like a spark to dry tinder. A wave of unprecedented sensation washed over them. After a few seconds, Yi Feng snapped back to reality. He stumbled back, looking as guilty as a kid caught stealing cookies. He looked at Xiao Wu, who was blushing furiously, and stammered, "Xiao Wu, I was just trying to prove." Xiao Wu reached out, stepped forward, and wrapped her arms around Yi Feng's waist. She pressed her lips to his, silencing his anxiety. Soto City, a thriving metropolis in the Baroque kingdom, had a pace that made Notting City seem like it was standing still. The streets teemed with people. Hand in hand, a pair of teenagers strolled through the bustling streets. Soto City was filled with shops, especially clothing stores. Xiao Wu dragged Yi Feng into one after another. Now that they were officially a couple, crossing that line from just friends, Yi Feng eagerly paid for any clothes she liked. "Whoa!" Yi Feng stopped abruptly. "What is it?" Xiao Wu looked at him curiously, following his gaze. She saw a round symbol on a shop sign, with a sword, a hammer, and a blue electric T-Rex. A Soul Master shop. These symbols indicated that the shop sold items specifically for Soul Masters. "Let's check it out." Xiao Wu tugged Yi Feng's arm, leading him inside. The shop was dimly lit, with a faint energy that could only come from a soul guide. A middle-aged man in glasses was dozing in a rocking chair in the center of the store. Yi Feng recognized him as Flender, one part of the Golden Iron Triangle. Yi Feng scanned the shop. Since he didn't know the shop's location, he did not come directly to the shop. And now Tang San was temporarily separated from him and Xiao Wu. Yi Feng couldn't be sure if Tang San had already been here. He remembered that Tang San found the hidden weapon dragon beard needle. His eyes fell on an unassuming crystal by the wall, about the size of a human head. Plate crystal, that Yi Feng almost laughed out loud. The crystal was still here, meaning Tang San hadn't had his chance yet. Yi Feng looked at Xiao Wu, chatting casually. Hey, Xiao Wu, should we head over to Shrek Academy this afternoon? Nah. Shrek Academy is on the edge of Soto City, and I heard it takes hours to get there on foot. Registration is open for days, we don't have to rush. Let's go tomorrow morning. Xiao Wu suggested. Sounds good. Shrek Academy tomorrow, then. Yi Feng grinned, glancing sideways at Flender, who was still in his rocking chair. Even though Flender's eyes were closed, Yi Feng noticed that the rocking chair's movement faltered noticeably when he and Xiao Wu started talking. Chapter 34. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 34. Yi Feng walked over to the corner and picked up the flawed crystal he'd grabbed earlier. Xiao Wu, tagging along with Lu Hao, asked curiously, Hey, what are you doing with that old crystal, Yi Feng? It's not worth much. Purple crystals are where the money's at. You're not thinking of buying it, are you? Nah, just wondering what it's worth, Yi Feng said with a smile and a nod. Just take it, it's free, Flender said without looking up. Free. Xiao Wu was surprised. Even though the crystal in Yi Feng's hand wasn't great quality and wasn't purple, it wasn't totally worthless. They could probably get a dozen gold soul coins for it. You sure? Xiao Wu asked, still surprised. I said it's free. It's practically worthless, Flender repeated, not really paying attention. So, we can just take it? Xiao Wu's eyes lit up as she asked Flender again. Yep, Flender grunted. He didn't even open his eyes, just kept chilling in his rocking chair. Xiao Wu gave Flender another surprised look, then practically dragged Yi Feng out of the shop. Once they were outside, Yi Feng stopped and chuckled. What's the rush, Xiao Wu? Xiao Wu pointed to the crystal in his arms. Look, even if it's not much, we can still get a few gold soul coins for this thing. He said it's free, we gotta run before he changes his mind. Asterisk ding dong, star. Asterisk congratulations. You've altered the original storyline. Before Tang San could get the natural hidden weapon, the dragon beard needle, you hustled the old profiteer Flender for a freebie. Reward, 15 attribute points to allocate, star. Yi Feng and Xiao Wu practically flew back to the hotel, and Yi Feng excitedly told her, hurry, Xiao Wu, lock the door. Huh? Lock the door? Xiao Wu looked at him, puzzled. Yep, Yi Feng nodded firmly. But, it's daytime. You don't want to take a nap now, do you? Xiao Wu blushed, looking shyly at Yi Feng. Xiao Wu, what are you talking about? I just want you to close the door. Yi Feng tapped the jade bracelet storage soul guide on his wrist and pulled out the crystal from Flender's shop. The jade bracelet was the only thing Yi Feng's mother had left him. Xiao Wu, still teasing him about his words, closed the door. Yi Feng stared at the crystal on the table, clenching his fists, veins popping. Name, Yi Feng, soul power, level 48, spirit, Shenyuan sword, 9 heart mysterious Tang, eye of hell, soul rings, none, soul skills, none, comprehension period of human sword. Unity, bonus strength, 159, bonus agility, 140, bonus spirit, 10, extra defense, 10, assignable attribute points, 0 points. In Yi Feng's personal attribute interface, his extra strength was now 159 points, and his extra agility was 140 points. Movement and strength were his primary focus. The original 54 additional strength attribute points were equivalent to the strength of 5 bulls, comparable to a power-type soul master of more than 20 levels. Now Yi Feng's extra strength was 159 points, and his brute strength was comparable to that of a power-type soul sect with more than 40 levels. It is worth mentioning that Yi Feng's personal attribute interface only shows Yi Feng's extra attribute points. After Yi Feng's physical body has been tortured by the ice and fire Yang Yi, his resistance to impact is no longer the same. Boom. Yi Feng punched the crystal. It shattered, sending golden light scattering into the air, shining and beautiful. Quick, Xiao Wu, grab them. Yi Feng said quickly. What are these gold things? They don't look like gold. Why are you so worked up? Xiao Wu asked as she gathered the golden beads floating in the air. These aren't just ordinary beads. They're hair crystals hidden inside the rock crystal, Yi Feng explained. Rock crystal. Hair crystal. Xiao Wu's eyes widened with curiosity. Some crystals get exposed to stuff, and golden threads form inside. These threads are super tough. When the crystal breaks, they turn into these golden beads. Crystals with those threads are called hair crystals, and the best ones are the plate crystals, Yi Feng explained in detail. Okay, so what are they good for? Xiao Wu asked. If you pump soul power into these beads, they turn back into golden threads thinner than hair. They're perfect for getting past a spirit beast soul master's body armor. Once they hit, they suck away their soul power and turn back into golden beads, making whatever part of their body that got hit curl up, Yi Feng said, demonstrating. He tossed a hair crystal at the bed, and the sheets immediately curled up and burst. Whoa! Xiao Wu hopped onto the bed and grabbed the hair that had been injected into the bed. Yi Feng stared at Xiao Wu's back. Xiao Wu knelt on the bed to take the hair gold from the bed. In other words, Xiao Wu's buttocks were facing Yi Feng right now. Xiao Wu was wearing a miniskirt again at this time. In such an action scene, Yi Feng happened to see Xiao Wu's underwear. Xiao Wu took out the golden hair on the bed and walked in front of Yi Feng. Looking at Yi Feng's floating eyes, he asked curiously, "Brother, what's wrong with you?" "Xiao Wu, are you tired?" Yi Feng asked. "A little," Xiao Wu replied. "If you're tired, why don't we take a break?" Yi Feng suggested. Now? Xiao Wu looked at Yi Feng in astonishment. Yi Feng nodded, stretched out his hand, and wrapped Xiao Wu's waist. No longer caring so much, her lips continued to approach Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu and Yi Feng are now lovers, and the two of them broke through the film between friends at noon. Faced with Yi Feng's actions, Xiao Wu blushed in embarrassment. Instead of avoiding it, she closed her eyes in enjoyment. The next day, just as the sun peeked over the horizon, Xiao Wu, Yi Feng, and Tang San set out for Shrek Academy. Shrek Academy was a ways away from Soto City, about a 2-hour walk. Xiao Wu was still exhausted. She asked Yi Feng for a piggyback, and he happily agreed. Yi Feng crouched down and grinned. "Hop on." "Okay." Xiao Wu, her cheeks flushed, climbed onto Yi Feng's back. Tang San, still single, watched the whole thing. A hint of sadness flickered in Tang San's eyes as he thought, "Looks like Xiao Wu and I were never meant to be." Along the way, Tang San noticed that Xiao Wu's face was super red, like she'd put on rouge. He asked, "Xiao Wu, are you hot?" "Huh?" Xiao Wu squeaked, flustered. "Your face is really red, and you're breathing fast. Are you feeling okay?" Tang San asked, completely oblivious. "And no." Xiao Wu avoided his gaze. "Just lead the way, Tang San." "Okay." Tang San, bless his heart, didn't suspect a thing and trudged ahead. Seeing this, the magic palm under Xiao Wu's buttocks became restless. It was precisely because of this evil clutch along the way that Xiao Wu blushed. "Big brother," Xiao Wu's face was bright red. She lowered her voice, lay on Yi Feng's back, and whispered in Yi Feng's ear, "Let's wait for the night. Tang San is beside us." End of chapter. Chapter 35 Yi Feng #039, S Junior Sister. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 35, Yi Feng's junior sister. The whole way, no matter what Xiao Wu said, Yi Feng just kept on with his antics, using every chance to cop a feel. Xiao Wu protested a couple of times, but when she saw Yi Feng was determined, and Tang San was ahead and oblivious, she gave up. She just wrapped her arms around Yi Feng's neck and enjoyed the massage from his magic palm. After about 2 hours, a village came into view. There was a long line at the entrance. A simple tent was set up there, with an old man in his 60s sitting underneath. A table sat in front of him, and behind him was a wooden archway with 5 simple words, Shrek Academy. No way, are we really going to this academy? Xiao Wu hopped off Yi Feng's back, staring at the sign in disbelief. Xiao Wu, don't judge a book by its cover. You can't tell anything just by looking. Yi Feng smiled. Well, we're here anyway, might as well check it out. Xiao Wu felt reassured knowing that Yi Feng said Shrek Academy didn't have Contra or title Douluo powerhouses. Seriously? This is Shrek Academy? The place that claims you'll be a viscount after you graduate? Dad, this is embarrassing. I'm a genius at the Junior Soul Master Academy. I don't want to go to a dump like this. That's what they say at the Spirit Hall. We're here, let's take a look. Maybe it's just a test. Facing the rundown Shrek Academy, the parents and kids in line couldn't help but grumble. Registration was proceeding smoothly thanks to the old man. Some people questioned the entry requirements, even demanding their 10 gold spirit coin registration fee back. But under the old man and Dai Mubai's intimidation, registration continued. Next. A young girl stepped forward, presenting her wrist to the old man. She was alone, as if she had come to sign up on her own. The old man froze when he touched her. Excuse me, did I pass? A voice as clear as a bell came from in front. It was a voice that could make an actress famous. Even just listening was a pleasure. Do your parents know you're here? That Yi Feng was surprised. He craned his neck to see. The familiar dialogue caught his attention. Looking at the girl's back, he wondered if it was Ning Rongrong. There's no discrimination in teaching, right? As long as I meet the academy's requirements, you have no reason to turn me away. She said with a smile. The Shrek Academy teacher nodded. The girl had passed. Soon it was Xiao Wu, Yi Feng, and Tang San's turn. Teacher, we're here to sign up, Yi Feng said, dropping the money into the box. The Shrek Academy teacher began checking their bone age. Well, good muscle development, especially you, kid. What's your name? The teacher asked Yi Feng. Yi Feng, he replied. Yi Feng, the girl who had just passed the test turned, studying Yi Feng from head to toe. Yi Feng, the Shrek Academy teacher muttered to himself, unless he is a soul master of Jiuxin Haitang Wuhuan whose surname is Yi, he can't think of any other family with the surname Yi. All right, he instructed. Good muscle development. Release your spirit. Tang San, Xiao Wu, and Yi Feng followed his instructions. Tang San and Xiao Wu's spirit rings appeared. Xiao Wu had 3 spirit rings, the second and third being 1,000-year-old purple. One was over 4,000 years, the other over 8,000. A 1,000-year spirit ring, the teacher was shocked. But when he looked at Yi Feng, he froze completely. Soul. Soul sect. 10,000-year spirit ring. He stammered, for spirit rings circled Yi Feng's feet. His 4th spirit ring was a black 10,000-year ring. Xiao Wu smiled. Do we meet the requirements? The Shrek Academy teacher nodded, his eyes burning as he looked at Tang San, Xiao Wu, and Yi Feng, especially Xiao Wu and Yi Feng. Your spirit rings have exceeded the upper limit for the 2nd, 3rd and 4th spirit rings. Xiao Wu looked at Yi Feng, remembering he was responsible for all of this. Without the ice and fire yin-yang tormenting her body, her 2nd spirit ring wouldn't have been 4,000 years. She looked triumphantly at the teacher. Don't you only accept monsters? Do we qualify? The teacher nodded, grinning. Ha ha ha, yes, you two are definitely little monsters. Mubai, bring them in. Okay. Dai Mubai nodded, approaching Xiao Wu, Yi Feng, and Tang San. We meet again, Xiao Wu said, a slight smirk on her face. You want to come in, right? Follow me. Dai Mubai looked at Xiao Wu warily. Even though she was only a level 29 Great Soul Master, he didn't dare fight her. His stomach still ached faintly from their battle yesterday. You said your name was Feng. The girl who had passed the test asked with a smile. Yeah, Feng nodded. Hi, I'm Ning Rongrong. You probably heard my name from the teacher, she said, offering her hand. Feng looked at Ning Rongrong, her long white dress gave her a clean look. Her long hair cascaded over her shoulders, making her look very feminine. Her skin was rosy and healthy, unlike anyone else's. She was young, but she would grow up to be beautiful. Feng shook her hand. Hello, junior sister. Junior sister. Ning Rongrong looked surprised. Feng chuckled. You call the teacher Grandpa Jian, and I'm his disciple. By seniority, you should call me uncle. I'm not trying to take advantage of you in terms of age. Shouldn't it be junior sister? Ning Rongrong, as angry as Xiao Wu, put her hands on her hips. I'm senior sister, not junior sister. Besides, even if we were born on the same day, who's older is not decided. Chapter 36. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Feng grinned. Okay, let's skip the whole age thing. Just go get your uncle so we can get this show on the road. No way, Ning Rongrong shot back, turning to face Feng. Alright, so, are you gonna call me senior uncle or senior brother? Feng asked with a knowing smirk. I think senior brother sounds better, Ning Rongrong decided. Good choice. I might just have a little something for you later, senior brother style. Feng winked. A gift? What kind of gift? Ning Rongrong asked, her curiosity piqued. You'll find out once you're officially a Shrek Academy student, Feng teased. Deal, Ning Rongrong said without hesitation. Following Dai Mubai, Ning Rongrong arrived at Shrek Academy. The second test was a simple soul power assessment. Xiao Wu clocked in at level 33, Ning Rongrong at level 26, and Feng, with his impressive level 48, automatically qualified for the fourth and final assessment. While they were testing, Dai Mubai showed up with Zhu Zhuqin. Then Oscar popped up, trying to sell his sausages. Luckily, Feng knew what was coming and paid Oscar's sausage no mind. When Xiao Wu wondered why Feng wasn't buying any, Feng explained that Oscar's sole weapon was sausages. Every one he sold was made by Oscar himself. According to Shrek Academy rules, anyone with a soul power level above 25 could skip the middle tests and go straight to the fourth assessment. After Feng, Oscar, Xiao Wu, Tang San, and Ning Rongrong showed off their impressive abilities, they joined the final group. Along the way, Dai Mubai, Feng, and Xiao Wu gave them the lowdown on the academy. Finally, they arrived at a small, 50-square-meter clearing. A middle-aged guy in his 50s sat slumped in a chair, snoring softly. Mr. Zhao, I brought the candidates for the fourth test, Dai Mubai said respectfully. Huh? What do you know, we got some kids making it to the last test this year, and 5 at once. The middle-aged man looked at Feng, Xiao Wu, and the others with surprise. These 5 skipped the second and third tests, Dai Mubai explained. Zhao Waoqi's eyes lit up, and he sprang to his feet. He wasn't tall or particularly handsome, but he had a powerful build, a little shorter than the 12-year-old Feng, but he had a powerful bearing. The thick muscles spoke volumes about his strength. 5 students all over level 25. Not bad at all. Seems like we got a bumper crop of little monsters this year. Name's Xiao Wuji. Since you skipped the other tests, I'll personally put you through the ringer. You have about an incense stick's worth of time to strategize. After that, you'll have to join forces to withstand my attack. If at least one of you manages to hang in there until the end, you pass. But let me tell you, this final test ain't gonna be a walk in the park. Zhao Waoqi said with a grin. Mr. Zhao, is that a good idea? Dai Mubai asked hesitantly. Sure it is. The dean's not around, so I'm the boss here. What I say goes, Zhao Waoqi said firmly. Xiao. Enough, Dai Mubai. Tell them about my abilities. I'll give them time to figure things out. Don't think about trying to pull any fast ones, either. Nobody can outrun me, and you definitely can't beat me alone. Your only shot is to work together. Zhao Wuji cut Dai Mubai off and offered Yi Feng and the others a bit of friendly advice. Dai Mubai walked over to Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Yi Feng, and the others, explaining with a helpless expression, normally, you just have to beat me. But now that teacher Zhao's involved, things are gonna get rough. Is this teacher Xiao like the one at the door, a soul emperor? Xiao Wu asked. Not quite, Oscar answered. So what's the big deal? Our average soul power is still above level 30, Xiao Wu said casually. It's not that simple, Xiao Wu. Teacher Zhao's a soul sage, a 7-ring master. They call him the immovable king, Dai Mubai explained. A soul sage, Xiao Wu and the others gasped in surprise. That's right. Mr. Zhao's soul power is level 76. His soul weapon is a Vajra bear. He's nearly invincible, his only real weakness is speed. That's why people call him the immovable king, Dai Mubai elaborated. Wait, he's the immovable king? Ning Rongrong exclaimed. You know him? Xiao Wu asked curiously. The immovable king is infamous in the Soul Master world. They call him the Demon King, too. The Spirit Hall sent 80 Soul Emperors to try and take him down, and he still got away. Zhao Wuji is a beast in close combat, so our speed is all we have. His soul weapon is the Vajra bear, and as a soul sage he has few flaws. It's hard to beat someone like that, even if they were on the same level, Ning Rongrong said, her voice full of concern. She's right, Dai Mubai added, his speed is his main weakness, but with the difference in our soul powers, that weakness won't do us much good. If you want to pass Teacher Zhao's assessment, you really need to come up with a good strategy. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, and Tang San all nodded. It was their first time facing a soul sage over level 70. It was going to be a challenge, not only Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, and Tang San, but even Yi Feng was anxious, even though Yi Feng knew the Chen family's sword Dao skills from Chen Xian. His current soul power level was only a little over 40. There was no way he could beat Xiao Waoqi in a one-on-one fight. Was he really going to get beat down by Zhao Wuji, only for Tang San to come to his rescue? Ding dong. As Yi Feng worried, the system's voice chimed in. System has detected that the host is about to be beaten up by Xiao Waoqi. The system expresses dissatisfaction and rewards the host with a Contra experience card. P.S. A relative came over at noon, and I drank a liter of 52 proof hard liquor with him. I'm a little dizzy. Only one update today, sorry. Chapter 37 Contra Experience Card. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Contra Experience Card, use it, and you'll have the soul power of a level 10 Contra for 89 minutes. Contra Experience Card. Yi Feng was surprised he hadn't expected to get this. The temporary soul power boost wasn't just to level 80, but to the peak of a level 89 Contra. One more step, and he'd be a level 90 title Douluo with this card. Yi Feng could end the battle quickly. The problem was explaining it to his friends. After all, his soul power was currently at level 48, so an 89 level boost would definitely raise some eyebrows. You guys should talk strategy. Without teamwork, you won't survive Teacher Zhao's first attack. Dai Mubai shook his head. Even with Xiao Wu at level 33 and Yi Feng at 48, he wasn't optimistic about Xiao Wu, Yi Feng, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Tang San. He's right, we need to cooperate. I have an idea, listen up. Tang San chimed in. He was thrilled. This was his chance to shine. Tang San, ever the strategist, already had a plan to deal with Xiao Waoqi. Seeing Tang San about to show off again, Yi Feng decided to pull the rug out from under him to make him the focus of the Shrek 7 monsters. He suddenly started convulsing like he was having a seizure. "Brother, what's wrong?" Xiao Wu asked, worried. "Are you okay?" Ning Rongrong frowned, looking at Yifeng. "Could it be epilepsy?" Tang San blurted out, looking thoughtful. "Epilepsy?" Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong asked together, looking at Tang San anxiously. "What's epilepsy?" Epilepsy is a pretty rare condition. During a seizure, the person might fall, twitch, their eyes might roll back, they might drool, lose bladder control, and be unconscious for a few seconds or minutes. Some people have brief lapses in consciousness, called petit mal seizures. Tang San explained in detail. At that moment, Yifeng was on the ground, limbs twitching, eyes rolled back, but no drool or bladder control issues. Suddenly, he stopped twitching. Yifeng arched his back and sprang to his feet. "It's all right," Yifeng said. "Brother, are you okay?" Xiao Wu asked with concern. "I'm fine," he replied. "Yifeng, Xiao Wu, come on. We only have a little time to strategize," Tang San urged. "No need," Yifeng said. "Yifeng." Tang San frowned. "To deal with a 70th level soul sage, we don't all need to jump in. Against that much power, tactics don't matter. Zhao Wuji, you should be ashamed. Bullying the weak. You're a 70th level soul sage, practically ancient, and you're picking on kids like us," Yifeng said seriously, eyes fixed on Zhao Wuji. "This is an assessment," Zhao Wuji argued, glancing at Yifeng, and reminding him with a hint of disdain, "Hurry up and talk strategy, you won't get another chance." "No need. I can handle you alone," Yifeng countered. "Alone? You want to fight Teacher Zhao by yourself? Are you sure?" Dai Mubai, Xiao Wu, and Zhu Zhuqing looked at Yifeng in shock. Tang San looked at him questioningly. Even Ning Rongrong, who called Jian Daochen Xian Grandpa Jian, looked suspicious. "I'm here to put on a show. I want Shrek Academy to know that they can't just push Yifeng around." Yifeng's tone was weird, like he'd become someone else. "You sure?" Zhao Wuji asked. "Let's go, Zhao Waoqi," Yifeng said without hesitation. "Really sure?" Zhao Waoqi asked again. As soon as he finished speaking, 7 spirit rings appeared around Zhao Wuji's feet, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 3 black. A beam of light condensed into a vigorous Vajra bear behind him. After Zhao Wuji merged with the Vajra bear, he looked even more imposing. A savage energy radiated from his body. "I'm sure," Yifeng replied calmly. 4 spirit rings appeared around Yifeng's feet, 2 yellow, 1 purple, and 1 black. "Oh, a soul sect. The headmaster will be thrilled. But even as a soul sect, you can't are my opponent," Zhao Wuji stammered, eyes wide, staring at Yifeng like he'd seen a ghost. "Soul King, Soul Emperor, Soul Saint. Contra." Zhao Waoqi was stunned, the titles of the 3 powerhouses falling from his mouth. The soul power in Yifeng's body was surging, until finally it reached the Contra level. How is your soul power over 80? Zhao Waoqi stared in disbelief. Yifeng only had 4 spirit rings, so his soul power shouldn't be higher than 80. But right now, his soul power was over 80, it defied all logic. "Why not? You wanted to bully some juniors. Today, I'll bully you, the immovable bright king." A gravelly voice came from Yifeng's mouth. "I." Zhao Wuji was startled, staring at Yifeng in surprise. Then he noticed Yifeng's unusual way of referring to himself. Yifeng was calling himself old. But he was only 12. What was going on? A million questions raced through Zhao Waoqi's mind. Why? Yifeng only had 4 spirit rings, but his spirit power was over 80. Yifeng held up a finger. "What do you mean?" Zhao Wuji asked cautiously. "One move. One move, and I'll beat you. Get ready, Zhao Wuji. Yi Feng said. The spirit rings around him vanished, and the 9-heart mysterious ice spirit in his right hand disappeared. A 3-foot golden sword appeared in his left hand. The sword was engraved with the sun, moon, and stars on one side, and mountains, rivers, and trees on the other. The hilt was decorated with carvings of farming and animal husbandry, and a strategy for conquering the world Amylite, with extraordinary momentum. Although the golden pocket sword didn't have any spirit rings attached to it, small ripples could be seen around it. This was Yi Feng's first martial spirit, Xianyuan sword. Boom. Tang San frowned. He could feel his hammer spirit throbbing, like it had encountered something terrible. As soul power flowed into the Xianyuan sword, it began to glow. Zhao Wuji's expression turned serious, and the 7th spirit ring around his body lit up with black light. The 7th soul skill, vigorous Vajra, bear true form. End of this chapter. Chapter 38. Ning Rongrong. I want to report, Yi Feng definitely did it on purpose. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 38. Ning Rongrong. I'm calling him out. Yi Feng did that on purpose. Xiao Waoqi instantly bulked up to over 5 meters tall, his muscles bulging, transforming into a massive bear. Coarse, brownish-yellow fur sprouted all over, quickly turning a golden hue as the transformation completed. Martial Soul Avatar. Dai Mubai's face was stunned. His combat instructor was actually using his Martial Soul Avatar, 4th soul skill, positional tracking. Once Xiao Waoqi activated his Martial Soul Avatar, he could unleash any soul skill below his 7th ring without restriction for 10 minutes, amplified to 150% of their original power. His defense also jumped by 50%. The downside? Each use weakened his stats by 20%, and it'd take him a week to recover. Xiao Waoqi's 4th soul skill was practically instantaneous. However, instead of targeting Yi Feng, he aimed at a tree about 150 meters away. He wasn't trying to attack, he was trying to escape. Using his boosted jumping power, Xiao Waoqi leaped into the air, hoping to evade Yi Feng's assault, man and sword as one. At the same moment, Yi Feng went into his human sword unity. The sword descended from the sky toward the still airborne Xiao Waoqi, striking him down. Boom, star. The Xianyuan sword unleashed a wave of powerful sword energy, creating a fierce wind that swept the area, kicking up sand and dust, making it impossible to see. When the dust settled, a long sword-shaped groove marked the ground. Xiao Waoqi lay motionless, knocked out by the blade's force. Teacher Xiao. Dai Mubai cried out, alarmed. He rushed to Zhao Waoqi's side and checked his pulse, breathing a sigh of relief to find that Zhao Waoqi was merely stunned and needed rest. He wasn't in mortal danger. After his single, decisive strike, Yi Feng resumed his act. His whole body began to convulse, like someone having a seizure. His eyes rolled back, then returned to normal. Xiao Wu hurried to his side, asking anxiously, "Brother, are you all right?" "I'm fine," Yi Feng replied. "Brother, what just happened? How did you get so strong?" Ning Rongrong asked, equally curious. Naturally, Yi Feng couldn't explain, so he asked Ning Rongrong what she'd seen. After hearing her account, he pretended to be deep in thought, just saying he didn't understand. "Could it be a hidden soul inside you?" Tang San suggested. "A hidden soul?" Yi Feng looked at Tang San, feigning surprise. "I read about it in a book. It said that sometimes, even after powerful people die, their souls can live on inside others. Like what just happened to you," Tang San explained. "Really?" Yi Feng acted astonished, never expecting Tang San to have heard of the old man's golden finger. "Yeah. Judging from what happened, that soul doesn't seem to have any bad intentions toward you, Yi Feng. So you don't have to worry too much about it causing you harm," Tang San reassured him. The night was quiet at Shrek Academy, with only the occasional sounds of nocturnal animals. Because Yi Feng had used the Contra experience card to beat Zhao Waoqi, he, Ning Rongrong, Tang San, Zhu Zhuqing, and Xiao Wu all passed the entrance exam and became students. Even though Yi Feng had thrown the original plot off course, he hadn't allowed Tang San to truly shine. Because he'd used a system-rewarded Contra experience card, he didn't get any system rewards for subverting the original storyline. As Yi Feng was getting ready for bed, a voice came through his window. "Disciple, come outside." It wasn't clear sky Douluo Tang Hao, but sword Douluo, Jian Daochen Xian. Since Xiao Wao Qi hadn't bullied Tang San, Hao Tian Douluo Tang Hao wouldn't come out to beat him up that night. Yi Feng followed the voice to the college's small square and found Jian Daochen Xian waiting. Grandfather Sword. Yi Feng wasn't the only one. Ning Rongrong, the young miss of the 7 treasure glazed tile school, was also there. "Rongrong, aren't you asleep yet?" Jian Daochen asked with a smile. "Grandpa Jian, you're so unfair. Now that you have an apprentice, you don't care about Rongrong anymore." Ning Rongrong pouted, looking jealously at Yi Feng. "Of course not. How could Grandpa Jian ever forget about Rongrong?" Jian Daochen fondly stroked her head. "Grandpa Jian, why aren't Grandpa Gu and Dad here?" Ning Rongrong asked, looking around for Gu Rong and Ning Fengji. "Grandpa Jian came mainly for Yi Feng this time, so your father and Old Bone didn't come," Jian Daochen explained. "See? I told you, you didn't come to see me." Ning Rongrong pouted again, glaring at Yi Feng. "Rongrong's all grown up, getting jealous now," Jian Daochen said, smiling helplessly and patting her head. "Grandpa Jian, did you come here specifically for senior brother? Is it urgent?" Ning Rongrong asked, curious. It was late, and most people were asleep. She wondered why Jian Daochen Xian needed to see Yi Feng. "If you want to know, come with me," Jian Daochen said, summoning his 7-killing sword. Ning Rongrong took a step forward, wanting to ride Jian Daochen Xian's 7-killing sword, but was stopped. She looked at him questioningly. Jian Daochen explained, "Yi Feng can fly on his sword now, you can ride with him. Take this chance to help him practice." Ning Rongrong was surprised. Although she could be a spoiled young lady, she wasn't stupid. Yi Feng wasn't either. Ning Rongrong and Yi Feng exchanged glances, both suspecting that Jian Daochen Xian was trying to set them up. "Grandpa Jian, I didn't expect you to not only ignore Rongrong now but also become stingier." "Humph." Ning Rongrong huffed, though her face flushed. She went to Yi Feng's side and said shyly, "Senior brother, I'm sorry to trouble you." "No trouble at all," Yi Feng said with a smile. He summoned his Wuhuan Xianyuan sword. The Xianyuan sword didn't have any soul rings attached yet and was about 3 feet long, just enough for 2 people to stand on. "Junior sister, do you want to stand in front or back?" Yi Feng asked. "Back." Ning Rongrong replied, her face even redder. "Okay. Then, hop on," Yi Feng said. He positioned himself in the front half of the Xianyuan sword, leaving Ning Rongrong plenty of space. Ning Rongrong nodded and stepped onto the Xianyuan sword. When Yi Feng launched into the air, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but scream. The force of the takeoff made her lean backward, almost falling off the Xianyuan sword. She instinctively reached out and wrapped her arms around Yi Feng's waist from behind, their closeness akin to a couple. End of this chapter. Chapter 39. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 39. "Rongrong, you okay?" Yi Feng asked. "I'm fine." Rongrong replied, her face flushed. She shyly let go of his waist. "Whoa!" But as soon as she did, she squealed again, grabbing onto him with both hands. It wasn't just the close contact. With Yi Feng speeding up and slowing down, she could definitely feel things getting squeezed. "You sure you're alright?" Yi Feng asked again. "Yeah, but could you try to fly a little smoother?" she asked, a hint of reproach in her voice. Rongrong was starting to think he was doing this on purpose, trying to cop a feel. But she didn't have any proof. "Hey, I'm not trying to. It's just that maybe you should think about hitting the gym sometime." Yi Feng said, keeping his voice down. It really wasn't his fault. He'd never flown anyone on his sword before. This was a first. Maybe Sword Douluo Qinshin was doing this as a training exercise for him. What did you say? Rongrong blinked, and her expression changed instantly. What was that supposed to mean? He actually had the nerve to suggest she lose weight, like she was some kind of blimp. Feng realized he'd stepped in it. He backpedaled. I didn't say anything. Yes, you did. You said I was fat and needed to lose weight. She insisted. Okay, fine. But it's because I'm your senior brother, and I'm worried you'll be too heavy to get a date. Feng grinned. You're about as charming as a wet dish rag. And if I can't get hitched, I'm blaming you. Ah! She screamed again. Xianyuan's sword suddenly lurched, sending her scrambling to hold on even tighter. Maybe you're not just heavy, maybe you're a little slow, too, Feng teased. What's that supposed to mean? Come on, think about it. I'm stuck with the words that come out of my mouth. Isn't asking me to be charming like forcing a cat to fetch? You. Rongrong bit her lip, wishing she could punch him. But she was stuck holding on for dear life. Ahead, she could only see the back of Jian Daoqinshin. With his speed and power, Sword Douluo could easily leave them in the dust, or even carry her himself. But he seemed content to let them struggle. She was starting to suspect Grandpa Jian was trying to set them up, even if she couldn't prove it. A blush crept up her neck. Because of the 7 treasure glazed tile school's rules, her future partner had to be a battle-type soul master. She thought back to Feng's performance against Zhao Wuji. He'd left quite an impression. And he was definitely interesting. Life with him wouldn't be boring, that was for sure. She tightened her grip around his waist, leaned her face against his back, and said shyly, "Hey, slowpoke, Grandpa Jian's getting far away. Let's catch up." Feng chuckled, and they continued on, talking and laughing. About 10 minutes later, they followed Sword Douluo to a rocky mountaintop. The mountain was unremarkable, almost barren. Any soul beasts would be easy to spot in the moonlight. When they arrived, Jian Daoqinshin was already waiting. "Grandpa Jian, you still haven't said what we're doing?" Rongrong asked, curious. "We're going to awaken Feng's martial soul for the second time and unlock his martial soul domain," Jian Daoqinshin replied. "What, martial soul domain? Martial soul domain?" Feng and Ning Rongrong stared at him in shock. He was going to unlock a martial soul domain for Feng. Only a handful of soul masters ever develop such a thing. The benefits were obvious, an extra ability equivalent to a soul skill. But the powers of a domain varied from person to person. The most famous was the domain of the god of slaughter. But acquiring that required entering the capital of slaughter and surviving Hell Road. Domains were divided into innate and acquired types. The god of slaughter was acquired. Only a few soul masters had an innate domain at birth. Of course, there were always exceptions. Some methods could trigger a second awakening, granting a martial soul domain somewhere between innate and acquired. And now, Jian Daoqinshin was claiming he could do it for Feng. With a wave of his hand, countless slivers of light flew from his soul guiding tool. They scattered across the mountaintop, easily numbering in the thousands. These weren't ordinary slivers of light. They were swords, each with a unique shape. Their appearance seemed to amplify the energy in the air, a type of energy separate from the basic elements like water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, and darkness. Ning Rongrong might not notice, but Feng, with Xianyuan's sword as his martial soul, definitely felt it. He knew the energy was coming from the swords. Luo Shui's sword, Qianming's sword, Yan's sword. Rongrong pointed out some of the swords near her and said in surprise, "Grandpa Jian, since when have you been a sword collector?" As the 7 treasure glazed tile school's heiress, she knew the origins of these blades. They were all incredibly sharp. She didn't realize her grandfather had such rare items. They were just swords, nothing more. Even the blacksmiths who forged them were hardly famous. Jian Daoqinshin nodded, pleased. "Since accepting your senior brother as my disciple, I asked Fengji to collect these. After 6 years, I finally acquired 1,000 of them a few days ago. Now, we can finally awaken the martial soul domain for your senior brother. Chapter 40. From today onwards, guarantee 3 updates every day. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 40, Triple Shift start today. 6 years. Yifeng asked, stunned. For 6 years, Jian Daochen had been leaving Yifeng's side after first accepting and then defeating him. Yifeng always assumed Jian Daochen, as a guardian Douluo for the 7 Treasures glazed tile school, had to frequently return to oversee things. He never imagined his master was actually off collecting these rare swords. The Yen sword is a treasure of the Fire Leopard sect, and the Luo Shui sword belongs to the Shui family. Grandpa Jian, how did you get your hands on these ancient weapons? Ning Rongrong asked, her curiosity piqued. Through duels, of course, Jian Daochen replied. One-on-one. Ning Rongrong was taken aback. Some sword-wielding soul masters are always looking for a spar to get my advice. Others gave them to me after I beat them. And your father bought a few with a hefty sum, Chen Xian explained. Soul masters often saw weapons as secondary, considering their martial souls more important. If giving up a rare sword got them ahead, it was a fair trade. I see. You mentioned awakening a martial soul domain for my brother. Are there any risks involved? Ning Rongrong asked Jian Daochen, glancing at Yifeng with concern. Rongrong, I know what you're asking. My father helped me unlock my martial soul domain, and I know the process for sword-type martial souls. Your brother will be fine, Jian Daochen reassured her, fondly patting her head. That's good, Ning Rongrong sighed in relief, looking at Yifeng with envy. Alright, let's get this show on the road. When my father helped me unlock my martial soul, he only used around 10 ancient swords. I'm curious to see how a martial soul domain awakened with 96 ancient swords stacks up against mine, Jian Daochen urged. Master, what do I need to do? Yifeng asked, trying to contain his excitement. In the original storyline, Tang San relied on the help of the 10,000-year Blue-Silver King to perform the second awakening of his martial soul, gaining his 6th spirit ring and the Blue-Silver domain. Now, with Jian Daochen's help, Yifeng was on the verge of unlocking his own Xianyuan sword martial soul domain. Stand in the center of the peak and sit cross-legged. Remember, protect your spirit fiercely. As long as a single thought remains, you'll endure, Jian Daochen instructed solemnly. Understood, Yifeng nodded. He walked to the center of the peak and sat down. Jian Daochen closed his eyes, then opened them again, releasing a surge of silver light. Jian Daochen's silver soul power was incredibly powerful. Under its influence, the 96 swords scattered across the peak began to converge on Yifeng, each carrying a sliver of silver energy. These individual energies seemed insignificant, but together, they formed a mighty river. The silver light stopped a meter away from Yifeng's body, forming a giant silver cocoon. Silver energy continuously seeped into his body through his pores. This silver light shouldn't be underestimated. It was the concentrated essence of the ancient swords, infused with sword-type energy. As a mortal, Yifeng couldn't help but tremble in pain under the injection of such power. As long as a single thought remains, you'll endure, Jian Daochen's voice echoed in Yifeng's mind. As long as a single thought remains, you'll endure, Yifeng repeated internally. Suppressing the pain, he focused on guarding his spirit. He ignored the pain racking his body, silently enduring the baptism of the ancient sword's energy, keeping his eyes firmly shut. Ning Rongrong watched anxiously, clasping her hands together as she saw Yifeng's face contort in pain. You can do this, brother, she murmured. The ritual proceeded smoothly, the mountain peak shrouded in sword-like energy and undisturbed by spirit beasts. The awakening of Yifeng's Xianyuan sword martial soul shared similarities with Tang San's second awakening of the blue-silver grass martial soul. Both relied on external forces to achieve a so-called second awakening. Tang San's blue-silver grass, with the help of the blue-silver king and vast fields of blue-silver grass, eventually led to him obtaining the blue-silver domain. Yi Feng's Xianyuan sword was able to awaken due to Jian Daoqin's profound understanding of swords, coupled with the power of 96 ancient swords of varying ages and qualities. The final necessary condition was Jian Daoqin's level 96 soul power. Jian Daoqin's title as Sword Douluo and his level 96 soul power provided the massive energy source for the awakening ceremony. Without such power, aiding Yi Feng's second martial soul awakening would have been impossible. The lack of these necessary conditions is likely why most sword-type martial souls never experience a second awakening. Jian Daoqin seemed to be the only soul master who had mastered this rare technique. As the first rays of sunlight touched the mountain peak the next day, Yi Feng slowly opened his eyes. The moment he did, two distinct flashes of silver sword-shaped light emanated from them. Jian Daoqin, his eyes tired but relieved, waved his hand, causing the silver light to dissipate. As it did, he staggered back 3 steps. "Grandpa Jian!" Ning Rongrong cried out, startled. With quick reflexes, she caught Jian Daoqin before he fell. His face, once ruddy, was now as pale as snow. Even for a level 96 title Douluo, controlling so many ancient swords for such a long period was an enormous strain. "Are you alright?" Ning Rongrong asked, concerned. "Rongrong, don't worry. I'm fine, just a bit drained. I just need some rest," Jian Daoqin said with a strained smile. "Master!" Yi Feng called out, filled with emotion. Jian Daoqin was downplaying the effects. After performing the domain awakening ritual for so long, his soul power was likely close to exhaustion. He looked as if he had aged 5 or 6 years in an instant. "Quick, show me your Xianyuan sword martial soul domain," Jian Daoqin urged, his curiosity piqued.